It's sold. Oh, it's pretty. The camera's not on.
Don't be loud or recorded. People at home will be able to. It's almost like being here.
The camera's not on.
Who opened the window?
I don't know. We're going to do this one without. I guess.
Boy, it feels good to sit down. My back's been killing me.
Catfish Weekly live with Chuck Davis and Lyle Stokes. We're sitting down with Jason Bridges. Jason, thank you so much for spending time to be on the show with us today. We are live from the Catfish Convention in Versailles, Kentucky. Jason, tell us about catfishing down in Alabama.
Well, what do you want to know?
I want to know if I come down there and I come down there and jump in a boat with you, if you'll take me out there where you took my buddy John Nordike and put me on a 105-pound fish.
Well, I can take you to that exact same spot, but I don't know if I can get that same fish to bite.
John, that was a great day for you guys.
Yeah, it was a great day. But fishing down my way, it's a great fishery. There's no doubt about it. And, we got a good strand of blue cats down there.
Yes, you do.
And, she's just real good fishery with 34-inch rule, and that's helped us out. And but as good as she can be, she can also be a handle too.
Well, I think honestly that any place that there's good fishing, there's also bad fishing, and cold weather fronts and different things affect how these fish bite. But that's probably as a consistent area as I know for catching fish.
It is. We got plenty of bait and plenty of forage for them, and it will spoil you. It will.
Yeah. You've took out a lot of people over the years, and I know you fish some tournaments. How many tournaments a year do you fish?
Well, I don't fish as many as I used to. I try to go to maybe 2 to 4 tournaments a year now. I used to go to 10 or 12, but the guidance kind of took over. Every time I get ready to go, somebody calls and wants to go on a guided trip. So I don't get to go much no more, and I still like to compete.
Well, there's something about competition, and it doesn't matter if you're riding motorcycles or if you're racing cars or if you're catching catfish. If you know that you put it on everybody else in that field that day, there's no feeling that'll take that place.
Yeah, it's something else. And just like the Sayark tournament last year, everybody thinks I got an advantage on my home water, and really it's the exact opposite. I find it harder to win on your home water than it is going some place I've never fished before. It's just a mind thing, Tournament fishing's really, I'd say, 80% mind games.
I would agree with that.
And 20%, skill and technique and finding the fish.
How long have you been guiding down there on the lake?
I've been guiding full time now for 5 years. So never did think I'd ever make it. Started off slow. And that's all I've been doing is guiding for 5 years. Everybody says I got the best job in the world. But I tell you what, it can get stressful at times.
Well, when you got to go out and find bait and it's not there, and make sure that you put your clients on fish, it's not any different than any other job you would do anywhere else. It's still hard work, and you have to make it happen.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of work to it. I mean, just like you said, the pre-fishing, the bait, catching the bait. I mean, you're all the time greasing bearings, this, that, and another, and I have to hire guys to catch my bait. I mean, there's always something to do.
Right.
And it keeps you busy, and you have to try to stay on the fish to make people happy.
And tell us about your boat that you got.
Well, I got out of a 24-foot Pro Cat. I've had it for about a year and a half now, and I absolutely love it. Got the big live well in there, so we took your friend John's fish, a 105-pounder, laid him in that live well for a good hour or so.
Rest him up.
Well, John had to have some rest, too. Yeah, after he thought that, he was pretty much out of breath. Try to get a weight on a 105-pounder, it was a give out. And so we let them both rest, and then we got pictures later. But yeah, it's a 24-foot Pro Cat with a 225 Mercury engine on the back of it. Plenty of room, and great cat, great all around cat.
Quality product. Chuck, you got some questions you want to ask Jason about?
Over the years, I've probably asked him plenty.
Yep.
Hours and hours and hours of questions.
You got any new ones?
Or
old ones be fine too. It don't matter.
Well, you plan on trying to compete in any of the smaller Alabama Catfish Trail tournaments?
Well, no, I don't have no intention to. I can tell you why. If you want me to, it's best for me to stay away, from the lower tier tournament trail, because y'all trying to build that thing up, and I just don't feel right coming in there and winning. I'm not saying that I would come in there and win. I mean, I come in there and get beat. Y'all beat me or whatever. I just feel like I want to see it grow up and get it good and established and get it built. Yeah, and I'll start coming fishing, but I don't have no intentions of fishing right now.
Because you've seen the damage that can be done.
It can be done. I've seen it happen time and time again over the years, where guys showing up and taking all, and guys that are learning, trying to get started, it really made them pull away from the sport because they didn't feel like they had a chance. So at this point in time, I have no intentions. I'd like to see it grow and get big enough, and then I'd like to be able to.
That's huge respect, because I've seen you doing that, and you could be showing up like some other guys do, and place top 3 every tournament, and I've seen it actually. Some guys actually pull back on the the new trail now, but I've seen it totally run some established trails by the same people placing the top 3 all the time. People just lose interest, and they just want to throw in the towel and say, hey, that's enough. I'm tired of donating. So you said no matter where you go, skipjack's your favorite bait.
Yeah.
So and you proved that when you fished the monsters on Logan Martin, the Steve Douglas tournament. You came down there with skipjack, and everybody was saying that skipjack would not take the first place prize, and you proved that. What do you see in skipjack that you can tell everybody that is really getting them fish really interested in?
Well, the thing that sets skipjack apart from every other bait is, it's in the herring family, and it's the oil content of the bait. That's really the only main difference. A lot of people think, well, you need a nasty bait, a bloody bait, a stinky bait. No, that's not what creates scent trail or slick. It's the oil. It's the oil content in the skipjack that I firmly believe puts it above all other baits. Now, there'll be some areas where you go fish, like I fished several tournaments out of Rome, Georgia, on that part of the Coosa chain. And over there, I caught fish on skipjack, but I also found out that shad and cut brim worked maybe just a little bit better. But I had never been anywhere out of all the places I fished where I couldn't catch fish on skipjack. I just hadn't seen it done. And just like that tournament you was talking about, everybody told me that Blues wouldn't win the tournament. It would be flatheads caught on live with brim, red horse suckers, or whatever. And I tried live bait, free fishing and stuff like that. Didn't work. Went back to my skipjack, blue cats. So there you go.
What do you think your confidence level is if you believe that them fish are going to hit on a skipjack versus a live bait? How much part do you think confidence plays into tournament fishing?
Well, you have to be confident in what you do, and if you don't have no confidence, if you're trying something else that somebody might have you've seen on a video or whatever, or somebody give you a piece of advice and you don't have no confidence in it, you might try it, but a lot of people, what they end up doing is they'll pull out too quick just because they don't have the confidence.
Right.
And And what I say to that is, before you go to a tournament or you do this stuff and you start pre-fishing, you start going out on your own, you need to try your best to keep the in mind as you can. Don't get stuck in a box. Don't get stuck in on honey hole syndromes, what I call it, or and all this stuff, and try different things. See, when I first really got real competitive, every time I hit the water, every time I made myself try either a new technique or a new area. Every time I hit the water, I didn't care if I was sitting here catching 400 pounds out of this one spot. I pulled up, I'd go fish something I would never think a blue cat was at, or something I'd never thought about fishing, and I'd go looking for fishing. So it gives you options. And then after you do that for a while, you start building up just not one technique, a different technique, or this bait, the skipjack gets that, and another. I mean, you get confidence in everything. You know, I'm not stuck on one way of fishing. Now I'm kind of stuck in on my one bait, but I still use brim and shad at times if things are slow. Yeah, you get a big smorgasbord of stuff going on in your mind. Get all that together, and then you use that to your advantage. And then you're never tied down to one thing, but one technique or one area or even one bait. But I do strictly 90% of the time fish or skip.
So when you find an area of the river that you're wanting to target and fish, so there's probably going to be fish in that stretch of the river just like anywhere else, but they may be, on different type of structure or wherever. So you just go to that area, that stretch of the river that you want to concentrate on, and you just beat down that stretch of the river and try to find the different types of structure they're at and just concentrate on those.
Well, I do, but you talk about a stretch of river. I'm sure y'all heard saying that 90% of the fish you're looking for is in 10% of the water, correct? Right. Now, I've been in a stretch of river, a half-mile stretch of river, where if I got out of that half-mile stretch of river, I wouldn't catch a thing. But if I stayed in that half-mile stretch of river, that's where they were at. But if I go in an area like you're talking about to look at things, I just, first I pick out what everybody else, key points, your hot spots. But you also got to think that other catfishermen, seasoned catfishermen, they're going to pick the same areas. So the trick is finding them nuggets on the beaten path. And then when you start doing that, that's game changer. Because everybody else is overlooking it, driving past it. Everybody else is like, you come in here and pre-fish this one spot and you left and you think, well, I caught a fish too there. I got out of there. They'll still be there. Well, guess what? They probably a boat an hour later pre-fishing the same tournament, pulled right up there. He caught 2 fish and he just left. That's so usually what I'm saying. Yeah. So you got to get yourself out of the box. Now, of course, you still want to go check them hot spots. Some of them get overlooked, some of them don't. But I like to get out of the box. It's if you ever do find them fish out of the box, off the beaten path where. That's a game changer. That's tournament winning. I mean, that's how you get it done.
Because that's what separates the consistent top 5 guys from the guys that hit it once in a while because they trip on a spot like that. But the guys that'll hit them consistently will consistently put more fish in the boat.
No matter where they go.
No matter where they go. That's exactly right. Well, Jason, we've been trying for a long time to get you on Catfish Weekly. I can't thank you enough for spending your time with us. And if you get a chance on a Monday night, we'd love to have you on for a full hour show with us. I think it'd be a great time. And these guys are going to pick you to death because they know how many fish you put in the boat. They'll be in that live chat. They'll be eating you up. But it's a good thing for the sport.
It is. Everybody's got to start somewhere and everybody's got to learn. And if you ever quit learning, you quit catching.
That's exactly right. One of the things that we are so proud of, and it's been through here today, there must have been 20 people that tell us, I watched that show, and the guy shared that information. He said it's unbelievable. And that's the good part about what we do. And it separates catfishing. I honestly believe this. It separates catfishing from bass fishing, crappie, any other kind. You don't get that information from them bass pros.
No, you don't.
You don't. And these guys like yourself and Larry and and Aaron Wheatley. These guys will share that with you. They're happy to see you do well, and that's what makes catfishing the sport of the future.
Well, it's like I told Chuck just a week or two back on a private message. Everybody's always looking for an edge, and just quit looking for that edge and just keep learning. Get that knowledge and just keep learning. And it's like I quit looking for an edge a long time ago, but I never quit learning. Every time I'm on the water, I learn something.
So your learning is your edge.
I guess you can put it that way.
Yep.
Overthinking. He told me at Cabela's Gunnersville, I said that you got them figured out. He said, I quit trying to figure them out a long time ago.
I think overthinking is a great statement.
It will. It'll mess you up in a tournament, especially.
It really will.
It will.
Thank you for spending your time
Hey, I
with us. We're
appreciate it,
looking
Lyle.
forward to getting you on the show with us again.
Hey, y'all take.
Leave. Tell everybody your website, contact information. Captain Jason Bridges.
Yeah, everybody, if you'd ever like to come to North Alabama and do some trophy catfishing, you can look me up at WheelerCatsGuideService.com. Captain Jason Bridges. My phone number is 256-738-9461. Thanks.
Guarantee you it'll be a trip you'll never forget with one of the greatest guides that's ever been on a catfishing boat. You guys will love it.
Appreciate it, Lyle.
All right, thanks,
You have a
man.
good one, buddy.
See you soon. We're working really hard to try to get everybody in here and get them all lined up. The guys in the back are so busy. We're trying to put them in as quickly as we can. But while we have a slack time and we're in a lull, we have sitting here Aaron Wheatley from Monsters on the Ohio, and we're going to get in here and we're going to talk about some Monsters on the Ohio catfishing.
What up, Chuck?
Aaron, welcome to Catfish Weekly, live from the Catfish Convention in Versailles, Kentucky.
Man, how exciting is this, Lyle Stokes?
I'm going to tell you something, Aaron. I knew that this would be a great event, and I knew there would be a lot of people. We got here yesterday afternoon, and it was storm. Really, there was just people running in and out all over the place and setting up stuff, and they've come from miles and miles. They've come from Maryland. They're coming from Arizona. They're coming from Kentucky and Indiana. And 25 states or something like that is represented down here?
Kind of sounds like Monsters on the Ohio.
It really does.
Huh.
It really does. Yeah, and Monsters on the Ohio has been a stepping stone for a lot of events like this, not just a conference, but for other tournaments. It has been a role that people have tried to model things after, and this is what's happening.
It's amazing to see the growth, and I think I've been running Monsters. This will be the 7th year, just to see the growth all across the nation, not just in Owensboro or in Kentucky, but everywhere. Everywhere you go now,
it is great.
Somebody's wanting to go catfishing. I mean, I go into Bass and Moore probably 4 or 5 times a week, and 4 or 5 times different guys wanting to go fishing. And it is great to see the growth. That's for sure, no doubt.
We put all this out, and we talk about catfish conservation, and we talk about tournament trails, and we talk about the guys that are sitting on the bank fishing. The end result is everybody that does that does it for the same reason. They love to catch catfish. And a lot of the guys are catching eating-sized fish like this, and it's perfect ones for them to take home. And you get the big guys in the tournaments and stuff, they're catching the bigger fish, and they're putting them back in the water and letting them fish breed and reproduce. So the guys, your kids' kids and my grandkids, they'll have these fish to catch later on. It's a wonderful thing. And now that we're starting to get some of these regulations in effect in 10 years, with the growth of the sport, plus the growth of the regulations that are being put in effect, can you imagine what it's going to be like for everybody in 10 years?
I do believe that 2016 will be the first year that the Ohio River has had protection on it from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Cairo, Illinois.
That's awesome.
First year in the history of fishing on the river, and Indiana has done some great things. Illinois has done some great things. Kentucky's done some good things. I'm not going to say they're great.
But it's a start.
But it's a start, exactly. You know, yeah, of course, a lot of people that know me know that I was in the meetings. I met with the commissioners and the senators, and when we first brought this to them, it was a joke. It was a joke. But look at it now.
Well, you know, here's something that I think that people forget. In catfishing, getting regulations and things put into effect is the politics end of our sport. And people do not understand how politics works. And the way that works is just like it works with a senator or something that puts a proposal on the board for the government. It has to be argued about and talked about, and there's got to be give on one side and take on one side until you hash out a neutral ground to make it happen. And then a year or two later, you go back in and say, look how good this is working or how poorly it's working. Let's make changes and make it better off. And that's what we're going to do with catfishing rules and regulations. And down the road, it'll be better. People have got to give us time to make it happen.
Yeah, you know, catfishing, you know, I did a sportsman show a couple weeks ago in Owensboro, Kentucky, and I actually was talking with a representative from Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, and I kind of introduced myself to him. I didn't know him. I was asking him, you know, if some of the commissioners would be there, or from Brooks, the head of fishery, would be there. And you know, I told him I'm Aaron Wheatley. I run Monsters on the Ohio, a big catfishing tournament here in Owensboro, and he's like, well, I don't understand the big thing with catfish. Back when I grew up, the catfish was nothing. I said, well, and plus when you grew up, you probably walked to school uphill both ways in the snow with no shoes on. You know, things have changed. We all know that the world is about money. If you come here to Versailles, Kentucky today, and you see the boats, and you walk into the convention center here, and you see the booths, and you see the different rod sponsors, bait sponsors, guide sponsors. It's proof to the pudding that the sport is growing at an amazing rate, and it's getting recognized, and that's how we get recognized, is letting senators and commissioners see that in Versailles, Kentucky today, there was 1,200 catfishermen that stopped, ate, got gas. You know, they may have spent $100,000 today in Versailles, Kentucky, that they would not have had if this wouldn't have been going on. We need more of that kind of stuff all across the country.
And the thing about this event here is it was short planned. This just popped up and everybody decided we was going to do it. And the turnout is astronomical. So you're right. It doesn't matter if it's Monsters on the Ohio that you plan a year in advance,
right,
or something that comes up. Catfishing is popular. People want to be a part of it. They want to know more about it. They want to be involved in it. And then it's growing in leaps and bounds.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's real fun.
It is.
It's real fun. I mean, you don't know what you're missing if you're not out there
That's
doing
right.
it. You
That's
know.
right. Chuck, what do you got for Aaron today? I know you got something for Aaron.
Come on, Chuck. What you got, man?
Yeah, I got plenty, man.
All right.
So, you know, you put a 200 boat cap on the tournament this year. What kind of response have you got on that? Has anybody been, you know, has that mostly been good responses you've been hearing about that?
Yeah, you know, mostly. I mean, I really don't get much negative no matter what I do, and I don't know why that is. I think people trust me. They trust that I'm gonna make the right decision, not just for the tournament, but for the sport. You know, and that's a tough road to live by. But if you're up front and you ain't, I'm kind of blunt sometimes, probably to an extreme, but I'm not a guy that's going to bullcrap you around. And if I think it can be done and I tell you I think it can be done, then I think it can be done. If I don't think it can be done and you want me to tell you you think it can be done, chances are I'm not going to tell you that. I haven't heard very many negative responses to the 200 boat cap because, you know, there comes a point where one tournament can only be so big. You can only do so much in one day. You know, and we're kind of 200 boats to me gives us the ability to get those fish back into the water without losing. Is the conservation of the fish. As far as I know, I'm not going to say we've never lost a fish, because I guarantee you somewhere down the river 20 miles 3 days later there was a dead fish. That's just going to happen. But as far as I know, I go back and I'll check around the boat ramp 2 or 3 days after the tournament to see if fish come up. I've never seen a dead fish. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, no, a fish has never died, because that I don't know that, you know. But the conservation, keeping those fish alive in a dual time, you know, is what really matters.
Right. As your personal fishing this year, what tournaments you plan on hitting and you're looking forward to?
Well, the first one we're going to hit is the Sea Arc tournament down on Wheeler. I made a commitment to myself that I was going to go down on Wheeler about 20 times this year.
Leave my fish alone.
And I was going to find some of the things, the nooks, the crannies that Jason Bridges is talking about that I've been missing. But
leave my fish alone.
All right, JB, I'm sorry. You need to go. You probably don't want to hear this. So I'm committed to going down there 20 times, and I'm committed to finding those little nooks, those little crannies, those little something off the beaten path to catch those fish. We actually went down there a month ago with a real good friend of mine. He probably don't want to hear his name, but Rob Benningfield. He is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the top 5 fishermen in the country.
Great guy.
He can catch them anywhere. And I've learned a lot from Rob Benningfield. But we went down a month ago. We were down there 2.5 days. We fished maybe 6 hours. We spent time scanning, looking for something different. And I promise you, everything that we found that we thought we off the line on it, we pulled a 50-pound fish off at every spot. So definitely I'm looking forward to going back to Wheeler. We're definitely going to fish the Cabela's out of Mount Vernon, Indiana. That's kind of my home waters, kind of a pool below me. We're definitely going to fish the Cabela's out of Cadiz, Kentucky on Lake Barkley. I was just down there a couple weeks ago and had a good fish on. He come off, but that's just part of it. We're going to fish the Cabela's Classic out. I guess is that the West Championship that's in Henderson, Kentucky?
Yes.
We'll definitely be at that. I will be at the Mississippi River Monsters. I'll be there, but I won't be fishing. I'll actually be doing the announcing and stuff. And then there's several little local tournaments that we'll fish. You know, I fish mainly from Leavenworth, Indiana to Cairo on the Ohio.
The Cairo area, is that I've looked at it on the maps and checked it out and everything. You know, where the Tennessee River, the Ohio River, the Mississippi River kind of all come together right in there.
Okay, now
have you ever fished in that area?
That's more Paducah than it is Cairo. Cairo's down where the Ohio and the Mississippi meet.
Right.
Now I fished in Cairo. There's a lot of fish in Cairo because what'll happen is you got all that current coming down the Mississippi. Those fish will want to get in that current break,
right,
and they'll run up in the Ohio because from June to November, there's not much current in the Ohio River. There's a lot of fish in Cairo. Now, have we caught big ones down there? 30, 40 pounders, not really big ones, but big numbers. You catch 20, 30 fish a day, which is fun.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily got to catch a 70 pounder, have a good day. I can go out and catch 5, 20 pounders happy. But once you talk about where the Tennessee and the Cumberland come in, that's the Cumberland actually comes in right below Smithland Dam. And then the Tennessee actually comes in right at Paducah. I have fished that area. I fished a tournament down there a couple years ago. The Massengills actually caught a 75-pounder right next to me in that tournament. That's real good fishing. The problem down there is you're in the 4 over 40 down there. Just imagine how good that could be down there if it was a 1 over 35. So there's a lot of commercial fishing that goes on down on that end of the river.
Is it?
A ton. That right there is that stretch of river, and the Barkley and Kentucky lakes is what keeps those commercial guys in business down there. There's no doubt about it. No, a lot of fish going to pay lakes come out from down there, and we need to get that stopped.
We do.
We need to get that stopped.
Huge, yeah. That's should be a big focus for everyone right now. Is at least, at least a few times a week. Try to spread the word about that, and just keep the awareness up. If the awareness sitting up, people's not going to be focused on it.
Right.
It's going to go away. So keeping the awareness up is a huge deal. So all the tournaments.
Sea art tournament. I just really do. The competition level's really high. They do a great job of putting on a good tournament. There's not waters much better than Tennessee River down in Alabama. I've been to Potomac, Mississippi, Missouri, and James River, and I kind of really like the Tennessee River. I kind of go down there a lot, and probably. But then again, when I like to win, and I feel like the Cabela's Championship down there in Henderson, Kentucky, is a chance for me to kind of show myself. I'm definitely working on some different waters down there. You can trailer in that tournament, so I can come back and fish Owensboro. I can fish my 5 miles up, 5 miles down if I want to. That's in September. You never really know about the fish in the Ohio River in September because the current's gone, and there might be current, there might not be. They might be on a ledge, they might be in a hole, they might be on. It really gets kind of confusing in the Ohio River once the current goes down, and that's you guys deal with that at Monsters on the Ohio. I mean, it's hard to target those fish because of the lack of current. The current means everything.
Yes.
Current means everything.
They're still going to be there. They're just not going to be, usually doing what they usually do when there's current and not feed as heavily. But do you see the average weight of fish going up every year since these new regulations have been put out at the monster?
They've only been in effect for 1 year in Kentucky. They wasn't in effect in Indiana at all last year, or I think Illinois did pass some on rod and reel fishermen last year. Personally, I'm seeing more bigger fish. I mean, I am.
Already, just this past tournament was a big difference.
Yeah, and from my personal fishing, I fish a lot. I'll go after work 4 or 5 times a week when the weather's right. I put 15 fish over 50 pounds in the boat around Owensboro last year. I think the biggest number I ever had before that was probably 3 or 4. Now, I'm not going to say it's just because there's more fish, because I am better with my fish finder now. I do fish a little bit different now, but there's still big fish there. It's not Wheeler Lake, it's not Gunnersville, but it's the Ohio River. Like I said, I'm kind of new. I don't know what fishing the Ohio River 10 years ago was like.
Right.
But I can tell you that from last year to the previous 9, I caught more fish over 50 pounds in 1 year than I had in 7. So, I mean, something's going on.
Yeah, I've seen it. We did have a front last year, but it wasn't as heavy as the previous year. So the conditions were better. But I don't think that had a lot to do with the weights we seen coming in. I actually think that it's going to be improving yearly.
Yeah, I mean there were several good fish caught last year. There were several fish over 50 pounds caught last year, but there were several boats.
180 boats is a lot of boats.
180 boats, and you do. And I always thought, well, what if you did 180 boat down on Wheeler? It would be totally different. But, I've fished a couple tournaments on Wheeler here recently, like the Sea Arc from last year, and I fished the Winter Blues. And you really didn't see that big of a difference. Not really, in numbers of fish over 50 pounds caught. Even down on Wheeler, and that may have something to do with time of year. It's probably got something to do with all the current they were running in Winter Blues. It was
pressure.
Yeah, it was right before the spawn last year when we fished the Sea Arc tournament. That may have, but I thought for sure that we'd see way more bigger fish caught. So, but we didn't. We didn't. There's a lot of good fish in our pool, and as long as Kentucky Fish and Wildlife will start putting the wrenches down on these guys, I think things will get a lot better. We haven't seen a big push like I thought I would see. Cannleton is the first dam that's those guys from up above Cannleton would come down into my pool and start raping my pool. I haven't seen that. I see the same commercial fishermen out there all the time, and so the fishing is definitely getting better down that way. And I'd like to see someone bust 100 pounds soon. I haven't seen that on the Ohio River in my 10 years of fishing. I have not seen 100-pound fish caught. It's about time for one to come up out of there.
They'll be coming. We keep these regulations in effect, and they'll get better as time goes along, and you'll get the Ohio River back up to where it used to be and better.
Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe that for sure. Like I said, tournament's going to be big this year. We did put a limit of 200 boats on it. We did make a couple other little changes. We dropped the senior age from 65 to 60. So if you got someone that's 60 and older and you want to bring them with you, put them in the boat. That's fine. We don't have an issue with that. Under 16, if you got a kid, bring your kids. I mean, we probably had 25 kids last year in this tournament.
That is outstanding.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
The Ohio River that time of year is a safe place to fish. It's like being on Wheeler or Wilson till the wind gets up.
Right.
The wind changes everything that time of year, but it's really safe. Bring your kids, come on down, fish the tournament, let them enjoy it. We got all kinds of stuff going on all day long for the family. We got probably the most beautiful riverfront, absolutely, in the state of Kentucky. I haven't been too many places that are in this country that are better than English Park.
We do a lot of go. I mean, we go a lot.
Right.
And you're correct that Owensboro, Kentucky has put together one of the most beautiful places to hold catfish tournaments or anything else. That riverfront is outstanding. They put some investment in that. They put some time and thought. Gorgeous down there. It's a big wide ramp. We run 180 boats in and out of there with zero issues.
Right.
Every year that I've ever been there wasn't always 180 boats, but you know what I mean.
Right.
The in and out was fine. The people is so friendly and nice, so helpful. They'll help you get boats in and out. You back up, you park your thing, you get in the boat, you launch out. There's never been an issue at takeoff. And that's the thing that is just everything that's done down there is done the correct way. And people, they want to help you make it better. Because if you're happier with the way that tournament goes, then everybody in that tournament's happier.
Exactly. And, the response I get from the town, from volunteers that people, I'll put a post on Facebook, look, we're looking for a little help this year. I'll get 100 responses, There's actually a guy that loves catfishing so much, he just gives me $500 to give to whoever catches the biggest fish. He don't catfish, but he loves what we do so much. Here, man, give this away for the biggest fish. And Owensboro is they're not done on the riverfront yet. That's what's crazy. There's another $250 million being spent in Owensboro right now in construction. I mean,
that's amazing.
It's amazing. Where our mayor is something else. I'm telling you, that guy. I don't know. 6-7 years ago, they tore down the executive end, and everybody thought, well, Owensboro is going to turn into the next ghost town on the river. Well, this mayor come in and he started working with these corporations and getting these taxes in there. And man, Owensboro is a beautiful town. The riverfront is just unbelievable, and it just continues to get better.
It does, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's got the best catfishing in the world. It is probably coming to the point where it'll equal anything that we go to now.
Right.
But they have got the best venue at this point of any tournament that we've ever been to.
Yeah, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have that.
And the people that's helping you do it, they're all behind you, and having the city behind you and the correct stuff to make this happen. It's been very nice, and we can't wait to get there the next time.
Won't be long now. What are we about? Probably 8 months out. We're not
But it just flies.
Yeah,
It does.
and 8 months seems like
It really is. And summer will go by, and we'll hit all these other tournaments, and we'll do all the stuff that there and do what we can do.
absolutely, and that's that's one good thing about it. Bring the whole family, load up, spend the week down there. Won't be long. They'll have the Bluegrass Museum built down there. They give you some time to go do some picking and grinning if you want to. They're actually building a new hotel right across the street from the convention center. So we'll have 3 brand new hotels down there right on the river. I can't think of a better place to go for a well-run catfishing tournament.
And it is. Aaron Wheatley, thank you for everything you do for our sport.
Yep, thank you,
My
Bob.
friend, we appreciate it more than you will ever know, I promise.
I hear you. Thank you, Chuck. I'll see you soon.
We'll try to leave. Don't sewer up all the fish. I might want to get one.
I think I'm going to go to Alabama this weekend, matter of fact, next week. I'll be there probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not yours, Dave. I'll miss that.
Who's shirt, coat? Who's coat? Oh.
Hey, babe.
We are going to continue to run these guys in from the Catfish Conference in Versailles, Kentucky. Now, Versailles, Kentucky is a long way from Arizona. And our next guest has flew in from Phoenix.
I'm actually from a little town on the outskirts of Phoenix called Buckeye, but Phoenix works for me.
Phoenix, Arizona to Versailles, Kentucky to come down and talk about catfishing and look at catfishing products and catfishing boats. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, sir. I appreciate it.
You want to tell everybody what your name is and what you're associated with the Catfish Conservation Agency
Sure.
of Arizona?
My name is Bobby Wright. I am the co-founder and president of the Arizona Catfish Conservation Association. It's a 501c3 federally recognized nonprofit conservation club based out of Arizona. And I also